Hello there, gentlemen. I don't think I could find more perfect conditions to be recording this video. While everybody else is fighting online about wars and rape gangs and still surprised that governments vote in favour of disgusting, evil, ugly things, well, this is where I am. And admittedly, not everywhere in the world is quite this beautiful, but there are many beautiful places that you could be occupying your time far better in than being resentful or angry. Because who could be resentful or angry in such settings? I feel very blessed in my life, gents. I really do. I also feel very lucky. There's a good friend of mine that lives in the village. His parents still live in their family house, and he's away at the moment. I've mentioned him in relation to some gardening work at the allotment, which is fabulously joyful and cultivating and nurturing. And as I was coming down the slope, I recalled the conversation that he and I had earlier on today, where I said that I was plotting out a new route to go walking. And the amazing thing is to me that this route was exactly the same as here when I was growing up here, but we didn't walk over this way. We drove over to where I've just been and returned from. And from that point, there are many new walks to go on, and more beautiful cliff edges like that to discover and walk along and breathe in. And I texted him saying, with a couple of photographs, saying, it's possible, his name, that we don't know just how lucky we are to have had this place, our hometown, and the place where we currently live. And it's true. I mean, the vast gargantuan beauty and magic of this place. I'm going to keep turning at various points just to show you. I'm having to scratch myself in disbelief of all that's wonderful and beautiful here. And it's where I live. And I think what happens is we push out responsibility and we push out fear to spots that we have absolutely zero control over. Zero. You know, when you're talking about global warfare, you're talking about countries that are hundreds or thousands, many thousands of miles away. And it's no wonder when people are constantly sharing stuff about it and how disgusted they are, and just look at this, look at this, look at this. You must be disgusted and outraged by this, or you're not on our side. It's like, okay then, well, I'm not on your side then. I'm on the side of peace myself, frankly. And somehow, that's a controversial point of view. And ironically enough, after everybody saying how warmongering right-wing people are, it's now pretty much a new right position to be anti-war. You know, just imagine advocating for not going and bombing innocent people thousands of miles away who we've never met. Imagine that being controversial. But that is why I say that people love The rage, they love it. They love it. They want it. Because people can say, oh, I'm anti-war, but we need to defend ourselves. Performative contradiction, my friends. Performative contradiction. People do it all the time, as is their right. I mean, do what you want. But I did tweet earlier saying it is your timeline on whichever social media platform you're on. Curate it. And in your own life, look at the golden bracken. Wow. In your own life, curating your life is making choices. But of course, you have to decide what principles you operate in alignment with. And for me, peace, relaxation, prosperity, freedom. We know that war doesn't create freedom. We know that war fosters resentment and true hatred, not the bullshit woke idea of hatred, which is basically people just disagreeing with each other. And you can understand why people behave in the way that they do, because they feel hopeless and desperate and powerless, but they don't realise that literally right in front of them, right here in the blazing glorious sun, that you have a choice of living in the here and now. And people will say, oh Martin, you're just an ostrich sticking your head in the sand. No, it's just I don't believe in mutilating people who have never done me any harm. You cannot be moral and crave war. It's just not possible. You can defend your own property, and maybe governments are making that more difficult, but in whatever period of history, there have always been people that have prevailed and triumphed over evil. And if that's not in your conception of what that is, well, that's your choice. But there is beauty in the world, and you have your opportunity of being part of it, or just wanting more death and destruction. I mean, it sounds like a very basic and fundamental distinction, but that's ultimately what we are talking about. And I will say it again, they love it. The annihilation. They crave it. It gets people's juices flowing, because if it didn't, they wouldn't keep repeatedly commenting on it and sharing on it and still being naive to the functions of huge organizations and institutions and governments. And you know, we know all of this stuff by now. There isn't really any excuse for calling for more war. But in our small community of men here, well, I think we all know what the wise answer is to all of this. It's down to you, my friends, to decide. Choose well.